Welcome back to Hedgehog Hollow. I've got some stuff done since the last video. I cleared out more of that big hill while making a lot of moss, really getting moss carpets. I used the moss carpets and some red carpet I made with all those poppies I got from the iron farm to carpet over the trading hall. This will prevent a stray iron golem from spawning in here, but it sure looks ugly. I'm going to have to get some different dye and redo this carpet. On the floor above my storage room, I've added some automatic farming things, mainly just choppers I call them. Things grow, they get detected, they get chopped, and all of it goes back down into my storage facility. This one is for glowberries. I'm not sure if it's going to work. I may need to add something else to it. I challenged myself to make each one of these farms a 2-wide system. I can't do that with cactuses, obviously, because they require more area. These are very simple farms. If you want me to do a lesson on how to build them, I can, but I think pretty much everyone could figure them out. I've also put a lot more of the sorter in. I have plenty of iron and glass. I've stolen tons of hay bales to make those target blocks. My limitation to keep going right now is quartz and redstone, but I plan on getting it completely done, wrapping all the way around. These 16 long sorters going side by side here is part of my fun. That top chest is flowers. I need to get all 16 flowers to fill up that sorter. I know there's 17 if you count the wither rose. I'm not counting the wither rose. So off I go. I have that red poppy. I got that from the iron farm. I need to start finding the other 15 flowers. The yellow ones are an easy find because they are right next to me. That's 2 down, 14 to go. I have always liked this part of setting up a sorter. It's kind of like a little treasure hunt. I have to run around the map and try and find all of the flowers. I do know that on the other side of this kind of a hill mountain that goes over my road, there is a flower valley. So I'm going to hop over it and see what I can find. Can't go too fast. It looks like I found another one. So that is number 3. I only need one of each flower because I'm going to be creating a flower duplicator machine, but I tend to pick up a few of each kind simply because they're laying around. 4 of them down now, so I think that's 1/4 of the way there. And here's the flower valley. Let's see if I can pick up most of the 16 in here. I see plenty of tulips of different colors. That's a good find. Red, white, and pink, but I don't see orange. I might have to come back here with bone meal. I found that if you bone meal around tulips, it randomly creates tulips of all the different colors. So that's 7. I'm almost halfway done. There's got to be more flowers in this valley. There's some of those little white puffy things. I don't remember what they're called, but that gives me 8. That's 8 out of 16. Just double checking. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I'm halfway done. Those look like roses. I'm going to go grab them. That looks like everything in this valley. I don't really see any more flowers. So I'm going to head back over to the road and go into another area to see if I can find the missing flowers. Wait, there's some of those orange tulips. So that's going to put me at 10 flowers. If you have watched the previous days on this video series, you know that it's mostly just me playing alone. I tend to wake up in the morning, get a little bit ready, come downstairs, play for about an hour from say 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., then get ready for work and head out. None of the other players on this world right here have that kind of schedule. But on this particular day, I started playing around lunchtime because I wanted to go hunting for flowers. It turned out that Lady Adeline was on. There's another flower I don't have. Let me grab that real quick. That puts me at 11 flowers now. Back to Lady Adeline. She started talking to me. I did not know this, but the way I was recording the video, it records the audio that I say, but it does not record what other players say. So it only recorded my side of the conversation. And that's 12 now. So to make something useful out of that part of the video, I'm going to cut to it now and just narrate what was said between the two of us. "Kena, Kena," she started calling as I was running down the road trying to find some more flowers. "Lady Adeline is on." I explained to her that I was running along trying to cover as much area as possible so I could quickly find the last few flowers. She said that she was going to try and find some iron. I told her not to worry about iron. I'll run back to my house and get her some. I explained that I needed redstone and quartz because I'm building sorters and those things are using up all of it. She's been digging out road areas in the nether, so she had plenty of the quartz. She also got plenty of the redstone digging around here in the overworld. She said she'd leave a couple stacks of redstone and quartz on her front porch if I'd trade her 4 stacks of iron. I quickly ran back to my storage facility and grabbed some iron. I have more than enough iron to trade. Then I decided I was going to use the nether to run back to her place. This would be a good chance for me to start digging out a nice tunnel so I can easily get from my place to anyone else's place if necessary. Just make sure I have pickaxes. I can't tell you how many times I've gone on a mining trip, got there and found out I didn't pack any pickaxes. Basically, I'm just going to try and dig a straight line to the middle, and then I know that Lady Adeline has a road that goes off to her area once I get there. If I'm lucky, I'll pick up plenty of quartz while I'm doing this. I do need to start exploring the nether. I need to find a way to get some blaze rods so that we can get to the end. That is one of the things you really can't do in peaceful mode. You need blaze rods to get to the end unless you're on one of those 1 in a trillion maps that has a completed portal. This dig took me much longer than I was expecting, but eventually I made it to Lady Adeline's place. She said she was going to leave some quartz and some redstone sitting on her front porch, and sure enough, there is a chest. But first I want to take a look around. She's done a lot of work since the last time I was here. I wonder if she's going to keep it all blue like that, or is that just a temporary block that she's going to change out eventually? Well, I need to pick up my stuff and drop off this iron. Two stacks of quartz and 2 stacks of redstone. That is going to be very helpful when I keep working on my sorter. And now I can get back to the flower hunt. I only have 3 flowers left to find. As I was working with Lady Adeline, she suggested that I go to the mansion because those purple puffy flowers tend to be in there all the time. The trick is finding the mansion. I've been wandering around here for a very long time, just completely lost. I can't find anything. But I'm grabbing these flowers just in case I've lost count and I haven't got them yet. Where is the mansion? Something that big should be easy to find, but I simply can't find it. Oh, finally, there it is. Where is the entrance? I know I could just cut a hole in the wall, but I don't want to do that. The mansion's sitting on a lava pool and catching on fire. That is weird. I hope it doesn't burn down before Jaxosaur and I have a chance to try and clear it out. Still looking for the entrance. That wall pattern down there makes it look like there's a basement under this one. I feel like I've completely walked all the way around the mansion and I still haven't seen the entrance. There it is, finally. The game is in peaceful mode, but you'll find that the mobs do spawn. They just completely ignore me as I walk around. Some of them have Totem of Undying. I can kill them in peaceful mode and take the totem if I want. I don't want to do that because I'm not really positive that they will respawn, and I want to do that when they will fight back. That way I can have more of a challenge. The trick is going through all of these rooms and trying to find one that has that purple flower in it. I have a white tulip already, and checking I was wrong. I needed 4 flowers, but I did find those purple ones, so now I need 3. I'll go ahead and take some of the good stuff out of the chests while I'm in here. No purple flowers downstairs. I'm going to head upstairs. Finally, the little purple puff ball. Now I only need 2 more flowers. I got more lost leaving the mansion than finding my way in. Lady Adeline helped me out and told me to come and check out a tree that she had built. Oh, this is pretty interesting. I see flowering azalea and those vines with glowberries and those flowers that you have to get. This is like an azalea tree, but it's 4 wide. I think she built the entire thing by hand. As I looked around for a bit, she told me that some flowers were south of her base, so I just need to head south to go find some. She has a pretty good flower field just south of her base, but what she did not mention is those little purple puff balls are right here. I did not need to go to the mansion and get lost on my way in and on my way out. I'm just going to grab a few more. And there's the sunflowers right on the other side of this little stream. That is 15 out of 16 flowers. I only need 1 more, and that's in the swamp. Once again, Lady Adeline helped me. She has a map of the area, so she told me where the swamp was. I just hope I can find one of those little blue orchids around here somewhere. There we go. That was easy. Now I have all 16 flowers. I can go set up my sorters so that if I ever get any flowers again, they'll all be sorted into my flower chest. And here it is, my flower chest with 1 of each of the 16 flowers in it. I mentioned that I was going to build a flower duplicator. I plan on putting it right here. I think I have all the items I'm going to need to do it. I've built this a few times before, but I'm going to try and squeeze it into a 2 wide section right here. I have this thing about having a bunch of 2 wide machines inside this area. I tried to lay it out with dirt, and now I'm trying to put the components in where I think they need to go. I know I need to dispense bone meal, and below this I know I'm going to need a solid block to receive a signal to tell it to dispense the bone meal. I need a solid block here. I'm going to pull a comparator signal through this solid block. The piston's going to be next to it. That's why I want the comparator there. The piston's going to be in the back to push any of the small flowers forward. I'm going to need a solid block under the piston, and I'm thinking a solid block next to it to feed back to the dispenser. I'm going to time it all using a hopper clock. I'm going to have 4 hoppers that go around in a circle. Then a couple comparators off of the hopper clock will be what times the system. I barely have enough room here. I'm coming right up against my hopper line for my sorting system. A redstone torch on this block right here will keep the hopper clock from running constantly. I'm going to use glass for everywhere that I don't need it to be a solid block. That will just remind me what carries the signal through and what doesn't. Now the comparators for the hopper clock, one is going to go into the piston, one is going to go into the dispenser, and they're ticking. I must have, okay, there it is. There was something that fell into my hopper clock. This comparator is going to tell me when I have bone meal inside the dispenser. That will turn off this torch, which is going to be locking the hopper clock. Turned off, it turns on the hopper clock and gets the whole system running. Now I think I can start working on the collection that goes below. I'm going to need to pull objects through the solid blocks that the flowers sit on. That means that I have to have a couple hoppers that pull everything down, and above those I need to have hopper minecarts that pull through solid blocks. There is a trick where you can use one minecart halfway between two blocks. I haven't had a lot of luck with that. But first I'm going to be placing this repeater. This is the repeater that's going to fire in order to tell the dispenser to fire out some bone meal. It's just kind of difficult to get things in position. Now place the hoppers, which are going to go below the hopper minecarts. I'm thinking I'm going to send this into a dropper, and in the end I'm going to have everything go to a dropper, which shoots everything into a water stream and sends the flowers that I duplicate back into my sorting system. Now drop a couple minecart tracks on here. Then the minecart hoppers go on top of that. Now the tricky part, I'm going to try and get rid of those rails under there. This isn't something that you absolutely have to do, but getting rid of the rails makes it so there's less chance the rail cars might roll off on you. These ones are giving me a hard time. There, finally. Got that part done. Now I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to put something down here to shoot these little flowers into the water stream. I'll take care of that in a minute. Now put some glass up here to keep those carts where they're supposed to go. And I'm practically done. Wait a second. I can't put dirt here. These carts are one block too high. Well, I messed that up. I need to take this apart and move everything down one block. So I'm thinking I'm going to have a dispenser down here, or a dropper actually, and then I'm going to run something into it to fill it up, and then I'm going to have to figure out how to detect when there's things in it so it can shoot the flowers out. Just trying to move around here. The hopper's down. Now do the carts again. Now I can place some grass here. Dirt works just fine, but since I had a Silk Touch pickaxe, I got grass to make it look prettier. And now the piston. Then build up the walls on each side to show that it's only 2 blocks wide. I need to put an item in these hoppers to get the clock going. Now I can test it. If I fill up the dispenser, it should fire the dispenser, then fire the piston, then fire the dispenser, then fire the piston, back and forth. They look like they're toggling nicely. It's going to be doing flower, push, flower, push, flower, push, duplicating the flowers. When the dispenser is empty, the hopper clock will stop spinning and everything goes to rest. So I can pretty it up a little bit now. Here it is completed. I did have to fix something. I accidentally put some carts down below that didn't have hoppers in them. I fixed that and I set this up so that there's a trap door. You open the trap door and then you can place a flower inside. Then you close the trap door to keep anything from coming out, and you put bone meal inside the dispenser. The bone meal will keep duplicating the flower. I added that redstone lamp. As long as it keeps blinking, it's still duplicating. When it stops blinking and stays solid, it's done. As it duplicates, you can see that all the flowers are being shot into the water stream that goes into the sorting system, so they'll end up in my flower chest. It is 100% effective. Every single bone meal is going to turn into 1 flower. For the 2 tall flowers like roses here, you don't need that piston in the back to push because it automatically spawns a flower that's floating and that gets sucked down into the system. The light is solid now, so that means that it's run out of bone meal and is done duplicating the roses. Now I can show it with one of the smaller flowers. They're slightly different. When you bone meal a small flower, there's a chance that it will duplicate onto a nearby dirt or grass spot. There is only 1 grass spot next to it. That means that there's a chance that it might spawn there. Then the piston, which takes in turn with the bone meal shooter, is going to push that flower off. That flower will get sucked into the system. So that's it for today. I did my flower hunt. I found 1 of each of the 16 flowers. I visited Lady Adeline for a little bit, and I built this really cool flower duplicating machine. I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do for tomorrow. So until then, I'll see ya.